down your weary tune, lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings no voice can hope to hum.
Struck by the sounds before the sun, I knew the night had gone. The morning breeze like a bugle blew against the drums of dawn. Lay down your weary tune, lay down. Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings no voice can hope to hum.
The ocean wild like an organ did play, the seaweeds wove its strands, the crashing waves like cymbals clashed against the rocks and sand.
Sing it with us.
Lay down your weary tune, lay down.
Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings no voice can hope to hum. I gaze down into the river's mirror and watched its winding strum. The water smooth ran like a hymn, and like the harp did hum. Once again. Lay down your weary tune, lay down. Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings no voice can hope to hum. Lay down your weary tune. Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings no voice can hope to hum. And rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings no voice can hope to hum.
Thank you. A good morning to everyone. It's good to see each of you here in the room and online. I'm the Reverend Barbara, the grateful minister of this congregation. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I wanted to say just a few words to everyone, to old-timers coming back and perhaps some newcomers who are here for the first time during this significant time in our communities and in our country and in the world, indeed. Today, we want to expand all the more our capacity to be here in safe space, or at least safer space. Space so that we may nurture our souls this morning, to express not only despair and anger and loss and grief, but also to begin to move forward toward new possibilities for renewing hope and courage and resilience in ourselves individually as well as in our communities. So today's service, I might describe it as being a bit out of the box. If you're used to worshiping here, it's not what you might be expecting when you walked in this morning. We are not focusing on a single message or a single speaker, but instead on the collective discerning among all of you, among all of us, to give you time to discern within yourself and then to share your discerning with one another about your feelings, your reactions, your responses. I'm bringing you a small taste of a program that I lead called Circles of Trust. And this is one of the small habits that we practice in Circles of Trust this morning. I'll explain in more detail later in the service. You might have noticed that there are stationary materials around the room, different colored Post-it notes and pens if you need them. I'll explain. All of this will become clear in a few minutes for why they are here. Again, welcome everyone. Let's hear our welcome from Larry.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, also known lovingly as the Ship. I'm Larry Lathadur, pronouns he and him. I'm joined today by service lead, the Reverend Barbara Koyman. Today's music is provided by Rex Loker, Cameron Wise, Paul Dart, Tad Korath, Shelley Bernard, and Debbie Larson. Today's tech team is the wonderful Deborah Mensch, Larry Sherwood, and Kathy Partridge online. As I say the welcome words today, please be aware of those around you and smile and welcome, or do this. Go ahead, let's see if you can do it. Come on. Excellent. You are welcomed here today with all your defining genetics, skin and hair tones, shapes and sizes, gifts and challenges that make you special. You are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are empowered here. Regardless of your sincere politics, and whenever you or your forebears immigrated here, you are welcome in this house of love. Welcome to are all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life. Whether you are rife with concerns and troubled by recent events, or at peace with your condition and see your way forward clearly, you are invited to join us with a curious mind, a loving heart, and a willing spirit. We welcome you today. We acknowledge that the land surrounding us is the stolen territory of Native people, and we commit ourselves to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice-making, focusing on anti-racism, anti-sexism, and anti-oppression work within and beyond our congregation. If you are new here, please come back a few times to really get to know us. As you may have already guessed, this is not a typical service. We have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. Those on Zoom can check out the links in the chat to help you get connected. Those in person can stop by the welcome table in the foyer for fellowship information and the newcomer form. It's short, don't worry. It's also on the QR code in the back of the hymnal, in the gray hymnal. If you would like to view a simple order of service for today's service on your phone, please scan the QR code up there on our screen or click on the link in the Zoom chat if you're online. Following the service, everyone on Zoom is welcome to stay for casual conversation with your fellow Zoomers. If you are here in person today, you are welcome to the coffee hour in Fellowship Hall. If you are joining us on Zoom, please feel free to greet each other in the Zoom chat. And if you are a newcomer, let us know so we can greet you. We love to know who's among us. Those of you in the sanctuary, please take a moment to greet your neighbors. You did that very well, thank you. If you have a chalice at home and can light it with us, as we light our fellowship chalice, so we know where all our chalices are, please write in the chat, chalice lit in, and the name of your town. Please say the words along with me. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
My friends, let us come together in this call to worship. This is from my minister colleague, the Reverend Karen Herring, on visiting a nearby lake this past Wednesday morning at sunrise. Reverend Herring planted her feet in the cold morning dirt, holy ground, burning not with heat, but with the churning of the moment. She called out to the earth and the trees, the lake and the sky. What do you want me to know? Held by the tree trunk behind her, the roots below her, and the gentle breezes moving gently around her, the answer came. Through this all, it's the same world today as it was yesterday. A world which will still turn inevitably toward winter, then spring. A world still broken by storms, by winds, by greed, by blasphemy, and a world with 1,000 shining beauties, and life still rising, with new seeds to scatter beneath her feet, holy, waiting, ready to be planted. Even though feeling broken apart, through her despair, Reverend Herring was also held, opening to listening, to hoping, to seeing beauty and joy, to seeing the wider horizon. Come, my friends, let us worship and be in community together this morning and be glad.
Friends, let's sing together now. If you have a teal hymnal near you, this is number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. We'll begin by singing the bottom part all together a couple of times. If you'd like to then move to the top part, you can sing that, or stay on the bottom part. And then the middle part, we'll join in lastly You're free to sing any part at any time you would like to. I think that this is a good one to stay seated with. So we'll further just kind of sink into our seats, feet on the floor, take a few deep breaths, and let's sing together. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe. When I breathe in.
When I breathe
Breathe
in, I
breathe
breathe. When I breathe
in.
I breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
When I breathe in.
I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out.
The poem I'm about to read was read by former Labor Secretary Robert Reich on his Substack Election Watch program on November 5th last week. In the poem, you'll notice the extent of the change matters and removes it from the close-knit family to the whole sweep of human history, in which context it becomes less personal, but yet the impact, but no less of a change. Yet the impact is colored by a different setting. You'll see. The poem is called Holding Vigil by Alison Luderman. My cousin asks if I can describe this moment, the heaviness of it, like sitting outside the operating room while someone you love is in surgery and you're on those awful plastic chairs, eating flaming Doritos from the vending machine, which is the only thing that seems appealing to you dinner-wise, waiting for the moment when the doctor will come out in her scrubs and face mask, which she'll pull down, to tell you whether or not your beloved will live or not. That's how it feels as the hours tick by and everyone I care about is texting me with the same cold lump of dread in their throat, asking if I'm okay, telling me how scared they are. I suppose in that way, this is a moment of unity. The fact that we are all waiting in the same hospital corridor for the same patient who's on life support. And we're asking each other, will he wake up? Will she be herself? And we're taking turns holding vigil, as families do, and bringing each other coffee from the cafeteria. And some of us think she's going to make it, while others are already planning what they'll wear to the funeral, which is also what happens at times like these. And I tell my cousin, I don't think I can describe this moment heavier than plutonium. But on the other hand, in the grand scheme of things, I mean the whole sweep of human history, a soap bubble. Because empires are always rising and falling. The whole civilizations die. They do. They get wiped out. It happens all the time. It's just a shock when it happens to your civilization, to your country, when it's someone from your family that's on the respirator. And I don't ask her how she's sleeping or what she thinks about when she wakes at 3 a.m, because she's got 2 daughters. And that's the thing. It's not just us older people. Forget about us. We had our day and we burned right through it. Gasoline, fast food, cheap clothing. But right now, I'm talking about the babies. Not just the human ones, but also the turtles and the owls, the white tigers, the redwoods, the ozone layer, the icebergs. For the love of God, every single blessed being on the face of this earth is holding its breath in this moment. And if you're asking me, can I describe that, cousin? I gotta say no. No. No one can describe that. We all just have to live through it, holding each other's hands. holding each other's hands. Holding each other's hands. Holding each other's hands.
Once again, a good morning in case you've just arrived. I am Reverend Barbara, the grateful minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she and her. This morning, like I said, we're a bit out of the box. We want to reflect on poems now, 3 poems, inviting you to have a chance for personal reflection, for some writing perhaps, to respond to your reflections, with gentle piano music to accompany this activity that we're going to engage in. Surely there's a range of emotions in the room this morning, now almost a week after the recent election. Many of us may still be in shock or anger or worry, or our own experiences too difficult to identify with words. But here in this room, let us also find a place for turning, for coming out of those initial reactions, not denying them by any means, but moving beyond them, moving forward, each in our own time, each in our own way. So again, a bit out of the box this morning, I bring you 3 poems that are on a handout distributed. I trust everyone has one. Ushers, could you pay attention just in case anyone in the room doesn't have one? Raise your hand. There's some up front. There's 3 poems here, focused on the theme of peace, and then hope, and then beyond fear. There's a 4th poem on this sheet that's a comp for you. I didn't have time to work it into this exercise, so take it home. And may you be blessed yourself as you read the blessing at the bottom of the back page. We're going to engage each poem for about 5 minutes. First, reading it, then hearing a rereading in a different voice, and then for each poem, we'll give you about 2 minutes to sit with the poem. You can either write notes on it. You've got Post-it notes around the room, color-coded. Why they're color-coded, I'll explain in a bit. But for the first one, for example, for peace, if you could jot your notes on the blue Post-it note. And what I mean by this is, if we just look at the first, with astonishing tenderness, and I hope folks online will also have access to this poem. What I mean is, when you read that, it says, in the middle of the night, you wake with certainty you've done it all wrong. Anybody, you might say, I relate to that experience of waking in the night right now. You might jot a note to yourself. Or at the bottom, it says, peace that arises in the dark to meet you as you are. You might write a note to yourself, I so welcome the calm. I so welcome the peace. You see what I mean by responding, however these poems are speaking to you. Jot notes down. If standing is a better way of reflecting, or maybe even stretching, we'll give you about 2 minutes for each poem. And write down your notes on this page or on the Post-it notes for color coding purposes. If you write first on the blue, And then we'll see later what we're going to do with the post-it notes. I trust those brief instructions are clear, and thanks for stretching in the back of the room. That's important work too. Yeah. All right. Our first offering is With Astonishing Tenderness by Rosemary Traumer. When in the middle of the night you wake with the certainty you've done it all wrong, when you wake and see clearly all the places you've failed, in that moment, when dreams will not return, this is the chance for your softest voice, the one you reserve for those you love most, to say to you quietly, "Oh, sweetheart, this is not yet the end of the story." Sleep will not come, but somehow in that wide-awake moment there is peace, the kind of peace that does not need everything to be right before it arrives. The peace that comes from not fighting what is real, the peace that rises in the dark on its sure, dark wings to meet you exactly as you are. I invite a second reading of this poem. A second voice always expresses different meaning to us.
With astonishing tenderness. When, in the middle of the night, you wake with the certainty you've done it all wrong. When you wake and see clearly all the places you have failed. In that moment, when dreams will not return, this is the chance for your softest voice, the one you reserve for those you love most, to say to you quietly, "Oh, sweetheart, this is not yet the end of the story. Sleep will not come, but somehow in that wide-awake moment, there is peace. The kind of peace that does not need everything to be right before it arrives. The peace that comes from not fighting what is real. The peace that rises in the dark on its sure dark wings to meet you exactly as you are.
Friends, I invite you to take 2 minutes to sit with this poem, however you wish to discern it, unpack it. Tad will offer some gentle music to add to your inspiration. Take 2 minutes. How about a deep breath or two? When I breathe in peace. Our second offering this morning, continuing on the poetry sheet, about hope, which if you want to jot down notes on the Post-it notes would be on the yellow-green sheets. Evidence by Rosemary Traumer. Again, I invite you to follow as you wish, with your eyes, with your ears, with your heart. After almost 2 years of growing only leaves, the orchid that sat on the back windowsill, the one I have dutifully watered and whispered to, the one I had finally resolved to throw away, sent up a single spiraling stem, shiny and darksome green, and I, who have needed years to hide, to heal, felt such joy rise in me at the sight of tight buds, the kind of irrational joy one feels when something thought dead is found alive. Not only alive, but on the edge of exploding into beauty. And now it doesn't seem so foolish after all, does it? This insistent bend toward hope. Let's discern this poem by hearing it in a different voice.
Evidence by Rosemary Latoya Traumer. After almost 2 years of growing only leaves, the orchid that sat on the back windowsill, the one I have dutifully watered and whispered to, the one that I had finally resolved to throw away, sent up a single spiraling stem, shiny and darksome green, and I, who have needed years to hide, to heal, felt such joy rise in me at the sight of tight buds, the kind of irrational joy one feels when something thought dead is found alive. Not only alive, but on the edge of exploding into beauty. And now, it doesn't seem so foolish after all, does it? This insistent bent toward hope.
So friends, again, take 2 minutes to see how else this poem is speaking to you. Again, if you wish to do on the Post-it notes, it's the yellowish green, greenish yellow color. Finally, beyond fear, on the back side of the handout. Again, if you wish to post on the Post-it notes, it's the reddish Post-it note. Fully alive, Donna Markova. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of failing or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live, so that that which came to me as seed goes to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. Let's hear a second voice.
Fully alive, Donna Markova. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which came to me as seed goes to the next as blossom. And that which came to me as blossom goes to the next as fruit.
And my friends, one more time, about 2 minutes of listening all the more deeply to how this poem is speaking to you. On the red Post-it notes, if you wish to write there. Friends, I'm now going to invite you to share with one another in two ways. First of all, for a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes, I invite you to turn to someone near you and tell that person the most amazing or astounding or enlightening or touching or hurtful or whatever that you heard in these poems. Pick one message or emotion or experience. Online in the chat, speak to one another, Zoomers on chat. I expect you probably have been. And for about 2 minutes, just in gentle voices, turn to someone, preferably someone that you don't know as well. You might get to know someone else better. So for about 2 minutes, just turn gently to one another, tell one another. Then we're going to have one more way of communicating our experiences. And Tad will offer some quiet music for us, just for 2 minutes. Friends, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. I can see some of the new friends you've made are really sticking. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. I'd like to invite now one more mode of your sharing your experiences. Would that we could have all 150 of us in this room, all 200 with the Zoomers, be talking to one another and hearing from everyone. We can't, we don't have enough time. But what I'd like to invite you to do is, as you wish, and you regulate yourselves, come to the flip charts. We've got a set on your left and on your right, where you can post your note for the corresponding color, that is for hope or for reducing fear, evading fear, etc. If you wish to sign your note, feel free to. And while you're up here or after the service, I invite anyone to come and look around, read others' notes, see what others have expressed. Maybe someone who signs theirs will have an expression that benefits you, and you may want to talk to that person. You may want to go more deeply with that person. So feel free to sign your notes. So I invite you, and I'll just take, spread yourselves out. Just go to the flip charts, post the corresponding color note. I trust that's clear about the color coding. Online, you'll be posting in the chat. You wondered why there were 3 colors, huh? This is why. So I invite you again, Tad will accompany us. We'll do this for a few minutes. We'll see how long we need for you all to come forward and do your posting. So please come, post your notes, and please let's keep this as reduced noise as possible. So come and post your notes. Friends, if you're done, please take your seats. Please take your seats if you're posted. Please take your seats. Maybe reread the poems again. Please know that these post-it notes will be up after the service. Anyone may stay and read. Also, feel free to take home the poems, the handout. You may want to read them again in a different setting. They may speak to you differently. And if you're finished and you're back in your seats, let's go into a time of some contemplation, some silent meditation perhaps, as we finish up posting our experiences. And Tad, you can keep on playing. May I invite you into some quiet contemplation while we're waiting for the posting of the notes? Again, these will be here for you after the service, to soak in the expressions of others in this room. Yeah. All right, friends. Thank you all. Let's give the red board time to finish up. My friends, here in the room and online, may we come together in a spirit of prayer, meditation, and intentional focus. Listening to this prayer written this past Wednesday, November 6th, by my UU colleague, the Reverend Victoria Safford. I invite you to reach out to those around you if you wish, by hands, by holding arms, by touching the spirit of someone near you as you wish. Friend, go to the window. Open the door. Move away from the screen. Pocket your phone. For just a moment, sometime today, let this November air mess with your hair. Caress your crumpled, tear-streaked face. Kiss your bare hands as it has since you were small, as it will until you grow old. All is not lost. Go to the window. Open the door. If you can't, if you're sick, or in jail, or at work, if you're stuck in an airport or riding a train or in labor right now, if your body can't move to the window or the door, just imagine you can smell the rain, taste the wind, the body, and the breath of this beautiful world. Close your eyes. Breathe deep, drink deep, the nourishing, life-giving air, and let it be spirit inside you. Breathe in life, and breathe out again life. Breathe more. We may not have to hold our breath a long while, gulping in air as if we were desperate, which today, my friend, we are. Breathe in rage and fear and fury. Breathe out a whisper, a sliver, a single frail molecule of hope. God only knows where. You know this and must not forget. Still and always we are held within, and we comprise a larger love. We are held within, and we comprise the mighty, irrefutable persistence and resistance of our ancestors, the urging and urgent laughing beauty of our children. We are held within. So now breathe deep and notice now who's hurting, who is in danger, who needs your prayers in order to survive. Hold out your brave and loving hands, stronger than you know, your brave and loving heart, and do not under any circumstances let go of beauty and truth. Do not let go of faith and hope and love. My friends, we are held within, and we comprise a holiness no tyrant can diminish or demean. Amen, and blessed be.
Well, each week we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to organizations that share our values. This week's half plate goes to supporting our BVUUF community through the Minister's Discretionary Fund. The fund directly and confidentially supports members during times of need. Many of us have financial challenges, whether from fixed incomes, medical expenses, unemployment, natural disasters, or the rising cost of living. We at times need help from our beloved community to ease our burdens. This fund is one way we embody the energy of action by loving one another. You can text your donation at the number on the screen, or if you are in the fellowship today, place a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously, as you so often do.
For the work and witness of this congregation and the Minister's Discretionary Fund, your contributions are gratefully received. Friends, let's close out our time together with some more singing from you, and this time rising in body or spirit in the gray hymnal, number 128. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Please join me in saying our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
And friends, for our benediction, again, you may wish to reach out and touch the spirit or the arm of someone near you. Always we hope someone else has the answer. Some other place will be better. Some other time it will all turn out. This is it. No one else has the answer. No other place will be better. And it has already turned out. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. There is no need to run outside for better seeing, nor to peer from a window. Rather, abide at the center of your being, my friends, for the more you leave it, the less you learn. Search your heart and see the way to do is the way to be. Go in peace, my friends. When you return to this sacred space, return in love. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. Blessed be. I invite you to resume your seats for a few brief announcements.
Here we go. Representatives from the Board, Committee on Shared Ministry, and the Leadership Development Committee will host their monthly coffee and conversation during today's social hour in Fellowship Hall. Share your questions and comments with them at the table on the stage. If you would like to learn more about covenant groups or join one, email Maggie Kerrigan and Mary Ann Lawler at Covenant Group Coordinators at BVUUF.org. There are spaces available in Covenant Groups. Grow in your UU journey in a small group of 4 to 8 people exploring spiritual themes taken from Soul Matters. Those who participate have shared about how impactful their Covenant group is in their life. They can be an important part of your support network. We currently have space available in groups that meet on Thursday. We're also recruiting for new groups. Contact Covenant Group, we mentioned this already. And the Fall Inquirer Series continues today. The Inquirer Series is a set of informal small groups gathering for visitors and members who would like to know more about various aspects of the fellowship. Today, the topic will be getting to know more about the activities of the Caring Council, the group that oversees the Neighborhood Connectors, the Memorial Planning Team, Lay Pastoral Care Associates, the End of Life Planning. If you'd like to participate, feel free to grab a cup of coffee in Fellowship Hall and join our discussion circle here at the front of the sanctuary at 11:30. We'll conclude at 12:15. And finally, we have this from the auction folks. Our love boat is a life raft in turbulent times. What we have to offer the world is needed now more than ever. Supporting the auction is a great way to do something constructive to support our congregation's work and help us to be of service to the larger community. Unfortunately, with the distraction of the elections, that's saying a lot, we're lagging behind in meeting our goals. Please sign up to volunteer, get your donations in, and sign up to bring food. See us at the table in the Fellowship Hall after the service to find out how. Thus endeth the announcements.